Hello, and thanks to everyone for being patient. I haven't posted in the last 3 weeks, but the series is still on. And in this video, I'm going to show you what is going on because this is very interesting. So, in the first video of this series, I showed you this diagram and I said we're going to build a brand from an idea. That's where the name came from. And I showed you all these steps. During the last 2 weeks, many things have happened, and I realized I don't really want to do this, and it's not going to help you if I build a fake brand, because even though it is built like a real brand, I can't really invest as much energy into it to make it useful. So we're not doing this. We are building an actual brand. I will be publicly documenting and building my own brand, which I wanted to start and do it at some point anyway. So I might as well build it with you and show you exactly what I'm doing so you can learn and do it with me if you want to start your own brand. And that's the new name of the series, From Idea to a Brand, or maybe I'll figure out what the name is. But the point is, we have already done the first steps. I explored the accords, I drafted the formula, I blended the demo, and I refined it. I have 3 versions of the same scent, and I do like it. I like the performance, I like the feeling that it gives me. It's not exactly the idea I had when I explored the accords. The idea was more transparent and masculine, but I still like it and it fits my taste. So I'll be going with that. The next step is to build the brand strategy, because now I have the idea for the scent. I know what I want it to smell like. Now it's time to build the brand. I don't have a brand already, so you will see me build this from zero. I have an idea for the brand. I know the story and the meaning behind it, because I'm building the brand for the kind of perfume I wish existed, and I'll show you all about it a bit later. This morning I accidentally started building the brand already. I was just on a highway, but I'll go through this tomorrow probably and show you exactly what I did, and we'll go from there. But we're gonna build the brand strategy next, because before I spend any money on sourcing materials, more packaging, investing time in designing brand books and all that, I need to know what the strategy is. Who are we selling to? What makes us different from other brands? How should we speak? How should we look like? Where are we going to sell? It takes care of all the decisions that you need to make in order to run a cohesive brand. Without a strategy, I don't really know what I need to do, and there's no guidelines. The brand will just be chaotic and not make sense to the audience I'm trying to reach. I was editing and had to intervene, because building a strategy is not just about aligning with your audience and making sense to them. It's also about making sense to yourself. Without a strategy, you might be doing all kinds of things and going in all kinds of directions and not really have a clear idea where you're going and what you need to do to move forward. Without a strategy, many decisions are left undecided, and it's hard to stay consistent. Plus, it takes energy every time you have to make that decision again and again. After I'm done with the strategy, I'm going to build a brand book, which takes the strategy and amplifies it. It takes it to the next level. The strategy answers what, why, and to whom are we selling. The brand book is also known as brand guidelines, and it answers the question of how. How are we speaking to the audience? How are we expressing this strategy aesthetically and digitally? All of these questions is taken care of by the brand book. We'll build that too. I'll document it. It's going to be on video. I also forgot to mention that you will need a brand book or some kind of unified document that talks about what your brand is like when working with other people. Because yes, you might know what your brand is like if you are very connected to it, but others don't. Others cannot make decisions in alignment with the brand unless you tell them to. Unless you tell them what kind of words you're supposed to use and not use in your marketing, or where you're going to sell, or what kind of colors you're using, what kind of fonts. You need to tell these things to a designer, to a developer, to a marketer, to a manufacturer. You want to save yourself some time and build a brand book, because then you just give this document to them and they know exactly what they need to do. Otherwise, you'll be repeating yourself many times, and not only it's going to be tiring, you can also make mistakes and forget to mention very important things. After that, we're going to build a prototype, because in the brand book, I'm going to define what the packaging should look like, all of this. But then the prototype will be a real life version in my hand that I can see and tell, do I like this? Does this fit the brand or not? I'll do this with cheaper packaging before I invest in high quality glass and sprays and all that. Also, we'll need to figure out how much money we need to fund the real sourcing, but we can't do that just yet because we don't know what the brand should look like, what's the strategy. This is why I'm saying the strategy is so important. It is because if we skip the strategy, we would just be wasting money and time trying to find packaging and sourcing when we don't even know what kind of packaging will fit the brand. And I say this because what fits the brand is not always what you like, which means you cannot always rely on what you like or don't like when making brand decisions. Because branding and building a brand is not about you. You're not trying to impress yourself and sell to yourself. You're building something that others will be using. Therefore, your brand decisions should be made by taking your audience, your ideal customer profile in mind. That's what the brand strategy is for, to define who that person is and what they expect from us. Now, if you're building this as an art project and you don't really care what anyone says, you just want to express yourself as a passion project and you don't care if you make money or not, then you don't need to follow this. You can skip the brand strategy and just find the packaging that inspires you and approach it differently. But either way, we're going to start with brand strategy, build a brand book, prototype, real sourcing. On a parallel line, I'm also going to do a safety check to make sure that all my materials are still under the IFRL limit. It's not a legal license for which I'll need to pay later. It's just a personal check I'll do. And then I'm going to restock materials once I know that I'm clear on that. Since I just ran out of vetiver and some other materials, Ambrofix, I'll restock. And finally, I'll blend the juice because I'm already putting it to mature and macerate, so that by the time we have the real packaging, we are ready to fill the bottles and we don't need to wait another 3-6 months before we can continue. The story does not end here. We will need to do photography, we will need to do the website and all the other things, but right now in this very moment, the only thing that matters is to build the strategy, because it's going to tell us what we need to do after this, right? Even these things, right now, it's a guess, but after I build a strategy, I'll know for sure what we need to do next. And yes, as you can see, at some point, I will need to get a legal license, because you cannot sell perfume in the Europe if you don't have the, I don't remember what the name is, some kind of health license. You need to get it, it costs money. You send it to a lab, they give a certificate that this is IFRS safe and things like that. That is something I'll need to take care of in the future. But first, we're going to build a strategy and the check. That's all for this episode. Tomorrow, we're going to be building out the brand strategy.